Okay. So, hello and welcome to another meditation session. And just as I started to talk about this earlier, it feels like there's a lot. It feels like there's a lot happening in the world at the moment. And the world is always such a fantastic mirror for what's actually happening within us. So anytime we notice an event in the outer world, notice how that seems to mimic or mirror any dis-ease or any parts that are warring with each other. Or maybe we're engaged in an argument with a friend, with a family member, with a loved one. Notice how all that is present. And so this is why I say there's a lot going on right now. And when there's a lot going on, feels like there's never not a lot going on. But at particularly heightened times when the thinking mind goes into its story, retelling, rehashing, ruminating about something. Whenever there's an acute sense of fight or flight, urgency in the body to act, to solve, to fix, counterintuitively, the best remedy for that is to slow down. Whenever we find ourselves with that sense of urgency and dysregulation or lack of control over circumstances in our personal life and the collective life, this is a call from love to you to slow down and notice what is present. And Dick's words might be to do a U-turn. Whatever seems to have gripped us, whatever seems to have velcroed itself to us, whatever seems to have grabbed the attention, we dive inside and find the peace, the remnant, the echo of the parts of us that are still seeking healing. And actually, this is the wisdom. This is the love that is calling, that's saying there's still something here for you to see, that's calling out. So my invitation for this next 50 minutes here is to notice what is still calling for love. And it's very interesting to actually notice that, because there's different sensations that might surface in the body. Different thoughts or images might surface for us. See if we can use that as a bit of a trailhead, as a bit of a rope that we might cling onto and ever so gently and slowly walk our way back to what still is calling out for love, what still wants to be witnessed in us, by us. If you can spend a few moments here just tuning into what's your inner conflict? What's your inner wall? What appears to still be unsettled? How can we soften these habitual patterns, postures, beliefs? How can we soften so that everything feels like it has space just to be? How can we put down the weapons of blame? And giving it plenty of breath. Letting yourself really inhabit and embody that spacious, way of looking with a soft heart a gentle gaze. This is what it's like to look with the eyes of love. Through the unobscured bird's eye view of self. And when we do this gentle, soft looking, viewing the parts with a generous, spacious, open, tender heart, we allow the parts to see that this is us. This is me coming back to me, for me, through me. When we were little, we required someone to resolve, to fix, to navigate, to nurture us, to help us out. And for those of us who didn't have the privilege of this, in our imaginations, we imagined figures, fictional characters, heroes, people of the telly, of films, film stars, to come and save us and pull us out, to finally release us, release the burdens. And the wonderful news is that we no longer need to wait for that figure. We are it. We are who we've been looking for all along. And on a physical level, it's the person who's looking back at you in the mirror, the reflection of you. But really, this realm is more related to the emotional, spiritual you. the aspects of you, the essence that can't be seen through the body's eyes. This is the you that can't be easily measured or weighed. We could attempt to find it through the latest brain imaging. And yet it seems to be evasive in that way. And sometimes it can feel that the more we look for it, the more we feel lost. And yet wherever you are, wherever you have ever been, there was self all along. It would be impossible for self to not to have been present. The self is the primal, self is the native. Self is that fertile ground upon which everything else is allowed to grow, irrespective of if it's a weed, an edible, a flower, a tree. Without that initial space for the parts to reveal themselves, the unique aspects that make each and every one of us. Without that initial space, none of that would be possible. So it might be reassuring for parts to know that sometimes the reason why they can't see self is because they're so close to self that they are self. Each subsequent part that comes and flavors our world, that flavors our character, our unique traits, is only possible to exist because it is composed of self-energy. It contains the seed of self-energy. See how it feels for your parts. To get a sense that the search is over. Self is here, always here. Imperturbable, unshakable, unharmed by trauma or war, in or out. See how your parts respond to hearing this. Are they able to receive this? Notice if there's still any mistrust, any tension. And whatever you notice, see if you can let that be a sign that healing and help is on its way, as opposed to feeling disappointed that there's still so much work to do. See if you can see that as a sign that if we slowly follow this call back to its source, realization of self is guaranteed. Because at the very, very deepest level of all parts, there is self. beneath the thoughts, images, memories, concepts, perceptions, sensations, feelings, there is always the self. So see if you can allow any parts that are lost in stormy weather, choppy water. If you can allow the parts to send the anchor down. Down to the calm. And as you travel, as you allow the part to tune into the calm down at the very bottom of the ocean, we travel through the thermoclines of the 8 C's. Confidence, creativity, next one down. Courage, deeper, we're going deeper in. Compassion. How does that thermocline feel? The one of compassion. Let's go another 10 meters down. Send that anchor down. Keep going. Clarity. Curiosity. 20 meters away from the bottom of the ocean now. Connectedness. And finally the anchor hits the bottom, the ocean floor, calm. And see how the entirety of the passage, the entirety of the 8 C's of the ocean is connected to you, appearing on the surface. At your disposal in any moment in time. Your parts have the ability to send the anchor down and travel through the thermoclines of the 8 C's. Each 10 meters, we meet, absorb, rejoice in, relax in, luxuriate in one of the 8 C's. And so it's like bathing, it's bathing in self-energy as we send the anchor down. And the same is true no matter how gentle the waves are or how stormy the waves are. Each time we can Imagine sending the anchor down through the 8 seas, down to the final one, calm. That's the gold down the bottom. When we reach the bottom, the calm is palpable, present, embodied. This is your birthright. This is what's available to you. This is your foundation. This is what the parts are built up of. This is your castle, your kingdom. It's infinite, imperturbable. If you can imagine any parts that are still struggling with any sense of feeling alone, isolated as a single wave. We don't have yet the access, a quick line to these nourishing 8 seas of self. See if you can show them now. Let's all now together help them to send the anchor down. And drink in, absorb, rejoice in each of the seas as you travel down and down. And is there a part that doesn't really know how to do this? Still little and young, uncertain whether their anchor is long enough to reach all the way down. Maybe see if you can allow these younger parts to get closer to the parts that already have joined with self, so that they can form a bigger area of waves overlapping. Just this proximity, this closeness to another part that is filled with self-energy is enough to reassure any parts that doubt whether they are capable of reaching their inheritance. Their sweetness. And the first one is confidence. The first thermocline is confidence. How would it feel to drop the anchor down only so far as confidence? And then how does it feel as the confidence grows, that suddenly the length of the anchor is able to drop another few meters down? And all of a sudden you find yourself swimming, swirling, expanding within creativity. If you allow yourself to really creatively tune into how it feels to allow any parts who have arrived at creativity. What's here? What's present? Is there a sense of wanting to dance? Is there a project that feels ripe and ready to get creative with? Notice as if there's any more expansion with this creativity. Notice if there's any more willingness to continue on traveling down. Is it a yes? I wonder what's next. Okay, we send our anchor down a little bit further. Courage. We land at courage. Wow. How does courage show up for this part? Does this part have any memories of feeling courageous, brave, sense of pride? Or maybe there's a really great role model. Or maybe there's a tingling in the chest that lets you know that there's courage here now. If we can use this wave of courage to continue on sending the anchor down, And we land in the well of compassion. How does the water feel different in the thermocline of compassion? Is there a color here? Is there a certain feeling, a sensation in the body? How is this part able to tune into and receive the compassion of self? And sending the anchor down further, deeper, we land at clarity. How's the water here? See if you can allow yourself to fully bathe in clarity. And you're only 30 meters now from the calm of the ocean floor, the calm of self. Let's keep going. Curiosity, let's drop it further down. What are the waters like of curiosity? What are you curious about? Curiosity is also a kind of longing, a calling. What wants to be explored here? What is now willing to be explored and witnessed with the lens of curiosity? When we send another 10 meters down, connectedness, and suddenly all the dots join up. All the 6 previous seas light up. Now you can look back up at yourself on the surface of the water, witnessing the entirety of the anchor, the line, the rope sent down. Visibility now. Everything's clear, everything is connected to each other. And now you don't even need to send the anchor down further. The connectedness that you're in draws you down to the bottom of the ocean floor. The final step is done for you. And you're hugged to the ocean floor, to the calm, the deep calm. And see if you can allow yourself to sigh, to take a deep breath, to sigh out or to yawn. To finally relinquish the search. The search is over. You know the calm is here. And as you look up, back up, all of this is you. The entire way of the ocean is you. From the stormy part on the surface all the way down through these 7 thermoclines and down to the 8th, the calm on the bottom. All of that is you. See if you can allow yourself to rest on the bottom of the ocean. Make your body flat against the ocean floor, hugging, drawing closer. This is home. This is always available. You're not separate from this. This has always been and always will be the ground of your being. The certainty you've been seeking is here, always. The assurances you've been trying to find elsewhere has always been here all along. Nothing has ever been missing. Yeah. See if you can really allow yourself to just breathe down, down to the ground. And just spend a couple more moments here, really allowing yourself to luxuriate. See if you can allow yourself to lie down on the bottom of the ocean floor and just look up. Notice how, although you're 80 meters down, there's still sunlight pouring through. There's still clarity, connectedness, curiosity, compassion, courage, creativity, confidence. shining all the way through, and being able to tune into the you that appears on the surface of the ocean and the you that is immersed and merged with the calm down at the bottom. All of this is here for you to witness. This is the beauty of you, the innocence of you, the perfection of you. Just spend another moment lying down and looking up at the wonder of you. How wonderful that you can witness yourself through all these different appearances, these different lenses that we can put on. It's almost impossible, improbable that this is what's here. This is how rich the constellation of the inner world is. Underpinned by the unshakable ground of self. See if you can sigh out the next breath, release it, yawn it out, stretch it out. See if you can start to take in more and more conscious breaths. And let all your parts know that we're going to transition back into the shared space here. Maybe take a snapshot last time of this image of what's available to you. Thank you. Thank you.